Sounds like Aunt Thurlow's kind of flat out these days with her business.
Hello. Hi, Kate. Can you hear me?
Hey, Weili, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. So good to hear your voice.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, yes. Now, we've met before. I think it was at the Chinese school. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. Yep.
Oh, good. So we get to meet again, but I don't get to see your face.
I am so sorry. I'm just concerned that the audio probably would cut off if I start
Okay.
the video.
Okay, that's okay. Yeah, so some other time then I'll get to see you again. So just wanted to, so let me get my video going at least. So, okay, so here I am. Okay, so we are, well, first of all, if you would introduce yourself to me, that would be great.
Yeah, my name is Weili Yu. So I've been working as a teacher in a local Chinese school. It's called Southeast Connecticut Chinese School. So it's a school that has over 30 years of history here in our local community, helping not only kids that's in the Chinese community, but also our general community, because we offer all kinds of classes, including art class, for example, chess and basketball, and you name it, we have it. So yeah, I've been serving as a teacher there, teaching Chinese class, and before that, I was the principal there for 2 years.
Well, that's pretty impressive that you were the principal there for 2 years as well. And you have a child who was in the program or currently was?
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old who's been in this program for 4 years now.
4
So
years.
she joined since she was in kindergarten.
Oh, very sweet. So how old is she now?
She's 9.
9 years
Yeah.
old. Okay.
She enjoys the art class there very much. So she would take the Chinese class there in the morning. The first 2 classes are Chinese. Then we'll continue into the 2 art classes that she enjoys very much.
Oh, good, 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 good. And you chose Southeastern Connecticut. Do you live you must live close.
We live in Stonington, so we're
Okay,
close enough. Mhm.
okay, okay. And what is going on as far as what is your daughter's name?
Oh, her name's Claire.
Claire. Oh, that's my
Yes.
granddaughter's name.
Oh,
Yes, I love that name. So
yes.
how's Claire doing with school being out of session?
Yeah, I think she's doing well. I think this generation, at least at her age, she seemed pretty comfortable with technology. Let's just put it that way, with computers, and she seemed to know kind of how to manage the Zoom meetings or the Google Classroom is what their teachers are using for the regular school. So what they're doing in their school is that the teacher would post the teaching material in PowerPoint slides online or Google Slides in their Google Classroom every
Okay.
morning. That has instructions on what you need to, what the kids need to do, where to go watch a video or read up an article, and what are the assignments. And then the student will then follow all those links that are in the slides and finish each of the tasks.
Mm,
Then in the morning, the ELA teacher would offer a half an hour office hour for
okay.
students who have questions to go meet in Google Classroom so they can talk, and there's a little bit of social there among kids that they can talk with each other. In the afternoon, the math teacher pretty much does the same thing. He offers a half an hour office hour for Q&As. And sometimes if, kids my daughter liked to sign up even when she doesn't have any questions. She just liked to be there to see the teacher, to see the kids. And so that was good. I guess
Oh.
Yeah, go ahead,
Well,
Kate.
I'm just thinking how much she must miss her teacher and miss her
Yeah,
classmates. And,
yeah.
she's there, but remotely. Tell me
That,
about that. What is that
yeah,
like?
that's definitely the challenge, right? So they see each other for half an hour. I mean, it's not the same as being in the classroom, being able to physically, interact with each other and talk, and having recess in the playground, in their beautiful playground, really. So though all of those she missed a lot, and there's the interactions with teacher, those are not the same online versus in person, so
Of
there's kind of no
course.
comparison. That bit is definitely the part that she misses a lot.
I'm sure. And how does that work for you, Weili? Because you're working and you've got a career and a profession, and you're
Yeah,
trying to multitask, is what I'm guessing, where you're both mother, teacher,
yeah,
parent. Tell me about that.
we are. It's been challenging. On some days it's better, some days it's worse. The other day I had like meetings for my work from like 9 to like 6. It's almost like nonstop, back to back. So those
Oh,
are the tough days that it's kind of hard, that she was pretty much on her own, and then she would check in with me in the room that I work, and then kind of write me a note if I'm on a meeting to tell me what is it, if she had a question, or she needed any help. It's good that me and my husband, our schedules somewhat kind of our
compliment each
schedule
other's.
complement each other a little bit. If I'm having a busy day, fortunately so far, we kind of pick up the slacks if the other isn't able to. But it's definitely a challenge for sure, Kate. And I do feel that this situation, it's been 2 months now. Wow, I can't believe it. Yeah, so we started remote March 13th, so it's almost exactly 2 months from today. 2 months ago from today, we started this remote working setup. So if
It's
it's
the
too
new normal, right? Does it feel normal yet or not at all?
well, so it's kind of, we try to think it's normal. We try to kind of think this is the new normal. We like it or not, it's the new normal, at least for now. But I do concern that if this situation goes on for the long term, the kids are going to kind of really start to seriously miss some things that just this remote learning is not offering enough, right?
Tell me about that. Well, first of all, I'm assuming that your daughter, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming that she's this beautiful, bright-eyed, glowing little girl that loves learning and loves school. and has done well academically. Am I right with that, or am I?
Yeah, I would say that that's right. You see, Maya, yeah, she is kind of more advanced in her class, and her
Okay.
math teacher in class was actually able to help her to give her some sort of like extra enrichment that she really enjoys. Give her some extra games to play, and then he come up with some projects. And the teacher was so kind that he even reached out to us not too long ago that he's working on some enrichment projects for her, hoping that that could help her to do that on this remote learning setting. But the teachers are faced with new challenges as well, obviously. So his time is kind of occupied by some of these extra things that he needed to take care of. So it's going to take him a while for that project to come through, but I'm eager to see what he has in mind that can help Claire to kind of keep engaged and keep learning and all of that. But aside from academic, I guess what she misses most, what I'm concerned most is that kind of social interaction bit of it, because
Of course.
I do think, especially for young children this age, what they learn at school academic is important, but it's really kind of how to get along with other kids. How do you
Exactly.
handle conflicts, right? How do you prioritize those things that the teacher asks you to do? Those are important social skills that are kind of
Absolutely.
hard to learn at home.
How many
Um,
kids are in her class?
their class has 14, I believe,
Oh,
students,
nice.
13,
That's a small
14.
class. But even if she's one of 14 versus she's your only child, is what I'm.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so, and she has two parents. So between the two of you, she's almost getting maybe one-on-one to some extent, not completely because you both are working and multitasking, but at school she'd be in groups of 3 or 4 for reading or math,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
guessing, or groups of 14 at different times, or
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So she would
Mm-hmm.
definitely need to learn to wait her turn and help other
Exactly.
people and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And their school has other programs that's kind of hard to mimic, let's say remotely. For example, they had a book buddy program at school
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where they would pair up like higher grades kids with lower grade kids, and they read a book together, and like their fourth graders may go to a first grade classroom and they kind of pick a book and kind of help the younger kids to read and to sort of like have an exchange of their reading experience and how they learn to read and what they find is fun and or sometimes challenging when they're trying to master their learning or reading skills. So those kind of program, I have no idea like how you could create that kind of opportunity for kids that are just doing learning remotely. So there are definitely limitations and challenges there for sure.
Nice. I had another friend join, Esteban, and Esteban is a friend, and his wife is actually a teacher. So, Esteban, we're just talking about school and the new age, and Weili is a past principal of the Chinese Cultural Coalition that we have at the East Lyme High School on Sundays.
Nice.
And she's talking about her 9-year-old. And Esteban, I've been able to keep up with you a little bit from different postings and things. And I know you've got 2 children at home and you're working full time and your wife is working full time. And you guys just have a whole lot going on. So we're just kind of talking about education in the new age of COVID-19. And, feel free to jump in. I'd love to hear how it's going for you. Weili was just sharing a little bit about how her daughter's name is Claire. Claire misses the other children so much and just the social component and just being able to hug a friend, I guess, and
Oh yeah.
see your teacher's smiling face and all of that. Tell me about yourself, Esteban.
Absolutely, yeah. So I think, my son, he's going to turn 6 at the end of this month. He's in kindergarten, and definitely, oh, sorry.
And here he is. He wants to be on the show. Or maybe not. Oh, there he is. Oh, there's your daughter. Oh, wow. She looks
Oh,
beautiful.
so cute.
Thank you. So yeah, my son, I think definitely the social component has been the biggest thing that he's missing. And with both of us working, we haven't been able to dedicate as much time to provide that to him. So we help him with his assignments and his work and whatnot. But it definitely that part is really missing from the educational. Yeah.
You have a boo-boo?
You have a boo-boo?
Yeah. Oh. So yeah, that's really hard, and I don't know how you balance it. And just we were just saying that Claire, Weili's daughter, is one of 14 in school, and I don't know how it is for your son. How many classmates?
Yeah, there's I believe 20 students in his class. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So, uh, and I don't know, yeah, we're thinking, we don't know how much longer this is going to go on, depending on COVID-19. Of course, it's all about staying healthy and staying well and all of that, but it definitely is the new normal. So I just wanted to kind of process some of that. And have you ever been, Esteban, over to the Chinese, we call it the Chinese school, and maybe Weili, help me with that. What is the best way to refer to
Yeah,
it?
we refer to it more as a Sunday school now.
Sunday school, okay.
Yeah, because the curricula offered there is, Chinese is offered, but then there's math, there's some computer class now, and there's also sports, art class, dance. So there's a variety of other classes offered as well at the school.
So what has happened with the Sunday school? It's not really, it went into Zoom sessions, is that correct or not?
Yeah, so some of the class is just kind of difficult to carry out remotely, as you could imagine, like our dance class, as you basically have to come to a complete stop. It's kind of we haven't been able to bring that online. So for the Chinese curricula and the math, for example, our teachers are trying to be innovative, and they're trying to find the most appropriate venue to teach their class, depending on their age and their kind of ability to connect online. And there's some practical limitations. And for older kids, I've seen teachers basically would pre-record their lecture and just share that recording with the students, and then kind of have them listen to the lecture, and then have sort of like offline one-on-one consultations with that, like Q&A sessions. Me personally, I have been using Zoom for some of the Sunday classes. But unfortunately, even for my Zoom meeting, I was only able to kind of show video briefly in the beginning before I start to really talk, because the bandwidth limitation in our neighborhood is still there. I'm hoping that can improve. We just subscribed to a different service. I haven't seen any effect yet, but we'll see. But anyhow, so.
And I've heard that repeatedly, where the infrastructure, I think the bandwidth in different places isn't adequate, and then some people don't have enough technology, so we have all these little glitches, I guess, bumps in the road, so to speak, that we have to get over to be successful. And of course, that's always going to be like the big barrier of people having and people not having, and people being connected and people not being connected. So all those glitches, I think it just takes us into almost like a new era of accomplishing that and making sure that everybody is able to be connected as much as possible, so that we can maintain the social distance to maintain that safety.
Yeah. So there's, remote learning certainly got its challenges, but based on my own experience when I'm teaching, I did find that the remote learning through computer does provide some opportunities to do things that I wasn't able to do in class.
Okay, tell me about that. Mm-hmm.
So this may not be applicable to kind of a typical public school, because the teacher do have access to kind of computers and those equipment in the classroom.
You mean in a Sunday school?
So the public school teacher in the public school would have access to the smart board and the technology that's equipped in the classroom.
Right.
But for the Sunday school faculties, we're kind of limited. We basically go in the classroom. What I have, for example, in my classroom is a whiteboard and marker, right? So I don't really have a lot of other technology going on in the class. But what I have are like the in-person, in-face interaction with the kids.
I think the interesting thing is that everybody that I've spoken to about this is that people are problem solvers, and by nature they want to figure it out. And so maybe we don't hit the ground running, and we're not up and running yet, but people I think are always thinking about, how can I do this? How can I make this possible?
Yeah.
What is the best strategy? And is there an opportunity to share maybe with other teachers? Because you're all, I mean, other parents, because you're all teachers now, and that's what teachers do is get tips.
Absolutely. So
Right.
this is, there's a, sort of like a platform, I guess. It's a tool, or rather, it's called Kahoot. So this is something that
How do you spell that, Weili?
it's Kahoot, Kahoot.
Kahoot. Okay.
Yeah. So I actually heard this from my daughter. I believe
Oh,
that
wow.
there's
It's great how the kids teach us and keep us current.
yeah. So they have used this game or this tool in their school when before the whole COVID thing occurred. They actually were doing some of these in the classroom occasionally. So it's an interactive game that it's a learning game. It's not only for school. When I read up on it, apparently companies use this tool for employee trainings, and it's really kind of a very interactive way to help my students learning online. So what we would do, for example, is that when we teach say if I'm teaching a new character, right, in Chinese, right, I'm teaching a new Chinese character to my students. How do I encourage them to kind of learn about this character? Is that I can design some games in a Kahoot. So instead of me keep giving them lectures, for 40 minutes, they actually got more time to practice this by answering all kinds of questions and games that I designed in Kahoot.
Nice.
To actually learn to master this particular character. And all my students just loved it. And I can't tell you how much that I really appreciate this game, this tool that's out there. They even offered a basic version just to the white public, free of charge, for anybody who wants to test it. For teachers who are more serious about it, there's a very affordable price that one can pay. I think it's like $3 a month or something like that. They made it very affordable for really parents and teachers and all the educators out there to use this tool to help encourage kids to learn something new.
Oh, that's great.
By practicing.
Well, I heard Khan Academy, KAHN, they're offering their classes for free now. So I think some of these technologies and things are making themselves more available and helping and opening up doors for people.
Yeah.
And it's all about finding what's available and what's out there and learning new ways to manage systems.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's kind of one opportunity that I spotted. And all my students loved it. And every time they come to my class, the first thing they ask is, are we going to do Kahoot today? Yeah. So they're so excited about this. So, I'm very happy to see that. That's
nice. I like that. Well, that's good. I was a speech pathologist for years in the schools and did a lot of work with children who had language and learning difficulties. And I always tried to make things as interactive and as engaging as possible. And sometimes that almost meant it had to be some type of a game where it had to be fun and there had to be motivation built into it. So it sounds like Kahoot does that.
Yeah, that's one tool that I definitely find useful, and for people out there who are interested in trying, there's it's very easy to get started. And on top of that, it's a open source kind of platform, meaning that if you go to the Kahoot website, you can see all the games that other teachers has already designed and they publish there on Kahoot, so that you don't have to necessarily go there and design new games yourself. You can search up on the topic to see if there's already a game that's designed by someone else that's already there available, and you can use it.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Is your daughter learning Chinese then?
She is. She is. She's in a 4th grade Chinese class now. I'm teaching her class, and I got 8 students there now to teach.
Oh, wonderful. That's great. And is it Mandarin that you're teaching her?
Yes.
Nice, very nice. Well, and what kind of work are you doing at Pfizer? What is your other?
Yeah, so I'm a scientist at Pfizer. I'm actually right now I'm leading some projects on a compound that hopefully can help to combat COVID-19.
Oh, tell me about that. That's exciting news right there.
that keeps me very busy. Well, some of this information may be public, and some of this information may not be public yet. But yeah, so Pfizer, as you probably read in some of the news media, that we're putting a lot of effort to come up with different strategies, from vaccine to antiviral drugs to immuno treatments, to help to combat COVID-19 and to help patients at different stages, right? So vaccine for healthy people who, to prevent it, and then antiviral to treat patients who has already been infected. And those immuno treatments are more for patients who are very ill, who probably developed kind of really severe form of this disease, and who has to be on the ventilator and, spend time in the ICU, that sort of scenario. So we have clinical trials ongoing for the vaccine already, and some other clinical studies that's being planned, and hopefully will start soon. Yeah, so I'm on one of those project teams that are working on these medicines. So that's Pfizer's putting in a lot of effort, and we're putting a lot of priority on these COVID programs.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yes, my husband was into vaccine development previously, and I know that it's been an arduous task and takes a lot of time just to develop anything along that line. And it's complicated, and it's not simple, and it takes time, and it takes tests, and it takes lots of studies and good efficacy. Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just saying, so this vaccine, a group of vaccines Pfizer testing, we're moving this through very, very fast. I would think it's some kind of an unprecedented speed. So 5 months ago, we just kind of had a licensing deal with a German company, and then 5 months later today, we're already dosing patients or volunteers. So it's an unprecedented speed.
Well, it's just such a critical need, and I've never, of course, in my lifetime, our lifetime, we've never seen anything like this. My mother was born in 1918, so she could have spoken about the
Spanish flu.
Exactly, but that was the year she was born. But yeah, so it's an unprecedented time, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, is there anything else that you would like to share with me? I'm really encouraged by your work and your studies, and it sounds like you are using technology all over for your daughter, for relationships, to enhance her learning.
Yeah, I think kind of, the question in my mind now is what's going to happen over summer, right? So now the school, I guess it's everybody's expecting that kids are not going to go back to school for the remainder of this semester. Right. And the big question in my mind is, well, so how is summer going to look like, right? Are we going to be in a place to send kids to any summer camps or any summer activities? Because summer, the school remote learning program will stop. And at least that's the assumption right now. I haven't heard anything to say otherwise. And if there's no summer program that will kick in, basically kids going to be home for 2 or 3 months with, kind of just relying entirely on the family, on homeschooling. And that kind of, get me a little bit concerned. And I just feel like our community is, I don't think there's enough guidance out there as to kind of, if that's the case, if kids doesn't have anything plans or any place they can go do some things in summer, kind of, what might be the best way to do a summer. This is going to be the first summer break that they had under this situation, that they can't really go anywhere. Families cannot really take real vacations. I mean, it's
right. And I know for my kids, summer camp was what they looked forward to. Every year it would be, do you want to go to Boy Scout camp or Girl Scout camp, or do you want to go to a language camp, or like my son would do a science camp, different kinds of things like that. And every year it was a different kind of choice and something to look forward to. And I'm wondering if park and rec departments within cities and towns are going to take over some of that responsibility that previously private organizations had done. And that's a whole nother. And are we even ready for that? And is there staff for that? And is there, are people like you're saying, forward thinking enough to be planning that, and parent groups, people getting together? Because just like what you said already, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. If Kahoot has ideas and strategies for how to educate, then there should be other ideas that can be shared. So
Mhm.
you don't have to do something for Claire that somebody else is doing
Right.
something else.
Right. So Kate, I guess before we end today, so is the plan? Is the plan is to share? I mean, what you're doing the interview for is that so that you can gather some resources, so that these resources and information can be kind of shared with our local
That would be my
community?
hope. Yeah, I would want that.
Okay.
Yeah. And the good news, my son just told me that on May 18th, Shanghai is opening up their schools again. So, it was the end of January, around the time of the Chinese New Year, that schools were closing down. So Shanghai is starting to open up. Then also, I guess there's new cases in northeastern China.
Yeah.
So we have to, I think, proceed cautiously. I would hate to think, and of course you're a scientist and in the vaccine world, and know that an outbreak could occur and it could come back and hit us and be hard. So we have to be so careful with all of that. But absolutely, I would hope to share and get more ideas and resources and look to other communities for what's going on in other parts of the country.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That would be
I
great.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Weili, and I hope to look forward to seeing you, having a cup of tea, and
That would be wonderful. Yeah, thank you for this opportunity, Kate. I really enjoyed the conversation.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Thank you again, and you be well and give Claire a hug.
Thank you, and you too. Take
Thank
care of the
you.
Claire
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye.
Bye.
Who is